every single one of you over there boycotting Asian business and spreading more Asian hate, you fucking black fucking people with your black fatigue, okay? And what your people call niggerism. Yeah, not my words. Those are your people words. You people that is living in that black culture mentality, the poor victim mentality, thinking that people still owe you fucking reparation. Every single
Now, this an Asian woman. Sound just like a white woman. This is how they think about you. This is what they think of you. We ain't spread no misinformation about Asian. We ain't said nothing demeaning towards Asians as a whole. All we said is, we're gonna take our money and we're gonna go shop with our own people.
That's it.
Since y'all can't seem to respect us in our own communities. And it's causing this type of pushback. They learning from these white people. They learning to play the victim. We ain't say nothing hateful about y'all folks.
Nothing.
I tell y'all what y'all haven't said nothing about one of y'all folks killing one of our babies. Y'all ain't had no remorse for that. Y'all ain't had no empathy for that. Y'all ain't condemned this man's actions once. But then y'all condemning us because we want to spend the money with our own? Ain't that what y'all do? So we want to do what y'all do, and y'all say that we in a black culture mentality. And she said it boldly. This me saying this.
Yeah.
I'm saying this shit. This an Asian woman. Sound just like a fucking cracker. Because that's what they are. We're going to have to be very, very, very intentional and very strategic about this.
To the black community, I'm sorry. As a Vietnamese American, I am disgusted by those in the Asian community who are more upset about a boycott than the life of innocent Cyrus Carmack-Belton. I was recently sitting on the George Floyd bench in Martin Luther King Park in Berkeley, the heart of the Vietnam War protests in the 60s, and was reminded of Dr. King's solidarity with the Vietnamese liberation, which ties to my solidarity with black liberation. Growing up in the Midwest, I was taught to trust whites and fear blacks, only to find the opposite is true in my adult life. I've experienced so much kindness and collective care in my interactions with black folks, both in the US and abroad. Whereas the lack of consciousness or care around the violent systems created by and for white folks when trying to speak to white folks about it is astounding and makes me feel incredibly unsafe with most of them. Asian folks watching this, with internalized white supremacy who prefer proximity to white power over collective liberation, know that you are just a pawn being used by white supremacy in this model minority myth to divide and conquer. And if you had a negative one-on-one encounter with a black person, remember that white violence at a systemic level kills millions upon millions and allows for one-on-one interactions with white folks to seem surface level nice because they're not forced into daily survival mode due to the privilege they've carved out with their massive systemic violence. So do not trust white nice because it turns unsafe real quick as soon as you dig beneath the surface to see that most white folks do not care that Western white supremacy culture is killing black and brown folks daily. So while systemic trauma might have caused a negative one-on-one interaction with a black person for you, remember that black people are not killing millions of people on a systemic level. Remember how black people played a central and pioneering role in the Vietnam War protests and stood in solidarity with oppressed Asian people. Do not abandon our allies. We owe the black community so much because our rights as non-white people in the US were hard fought for by black folks. So thank you to the black community for all that you do. Rest in power, Cyrus Carmack-Belton.
Hi guys, my name is Kelvin, and you're welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into something that's been boiling over in our communities, and it's time we speak plain truth about it. No filters, no sugarcoating. Imagine this. A 14-year-old black boy named Cyrus Carmack-Belton walks into a convenience store. He's accused of taking some bottled water. What happens next shocks the conscience. The store owner, an Asian man named Rick Chow, along with his son, chases this child over 130 yards away from the store and shoots him in the back, dead. A child, running for his life. Fast forward to the trial. Despite the outrage, despite the video evidence, despite a community crying out for justice, Rick Chow is acquitted, not guilty, walks free. And what do we see in the aftermath? Parts of the Asian community more upset about black people choosing to spend their money elsewhere than about the loss of a young black life. Let that sink in. For years, many of our people have been loyal customers to Asian-owned businesses in our neighborhoods. Corner stores, beauty supplies, nail shops, takeout spots. We've kept those doors open with our dollars, but time and time again, too many of us walk out feeling disrespected, followed around like criminals, talked down to, and treated as if our money is good, but our presence isn't welcome. And now, when we finally say, enough, we're standing on business. We're taking our dollars to our own people where we're respected. Suddenly there's outrage. Suddenly it's Asian hate. Suddenly we're the villains for doing what every other group does naturally. Support our own. This isn't hate. This is self-respect. This is economic intelligence. And today, I'm breaking it all down from our perspective. If you're tired of the double standards, tired of pouring money into communities that don't pour back, hit that like button, share this with your circle, and let's get into it. We're talking real Black economic empowerment. Spend where you are respected. Let's go.
So a ticking time bomb that I feel like not a lot of people know about is the fact that most of your favorite local Chinese restaurants that are being owned by like Chinese immigrants are probably not going to be around within the next 10 to 15 years. And this is because, for context, my parents own a Chinese restaurant, and basically all of our friends and family in our like community also own their own Chinese restaurants. So, you know, what I know is happening is that a lot of these people who came to America, you know, a couple decades ago, opened up their Chinese restaurants. They're getting to the age now where they are trying to figure out how to retire and how to essentially like what to do with the business. And so one of the options obviously is to sell it to someone else who wants to continue operating the restaurant, you know, as it currently is. And basically, from what my parents have told me, the prices that these businesses, like these Chinese restaurants, are going for on these like Chinese communities forums where people are like listing their restaurants, these restaurants are being sold for dirt cheap because you are not getting the same influx of people coming into the US as like first-gen immigrants who wants to own and operate Chinese restaurants. This is an incredibly labor-intensive line of work, and these owners, like, you could say, oh, like, why don't they just pass it down to their kids? Most of the Chinese people that I know whose family own restaurants, their kids, you know, my friends whose parents own restaurants, it was not even a question whether or not they wanted to like take on the family business, right? Like, the people who own and operate these restaurants know how extremely labor intensive and difficult it is to do this line of work. And that's because so much of the labor that goes into making and preparing your food is done by hand. It is not automated. Like, we, at least in my family's restaurant, we make every single dumpling by hand. And like the filling that goes into these dumplings, we make that by hand too. Like, my parents literally like grind up the pork. They hand chop the scallions, like hand measure all of like the sauces and everything. Like, it is so labor intensive to own and operate a Chinese restaurant. So like, of course they don't want me to go into this line of work. Like, so realistically, what is going to happen to these Chinese restaurants is that they, you know, either just close up shop and the owners are just like, okay, like, sorry, we're not doing this anymore, can't find any buyers. Or, you know, if you do find buyers, like, who knows who these buyers are going to be, whether or not they're going to be able to run the restaurant with the same level of care as, you know, was previously able to be managed by these original owners. Or realistically, what's going to happen is that private equity is going to come in, buy up these restaurants because the prices for them are like dirt cheap right now, and they're going to cut costs wherever they can, cut labor wherever they can, which means the quality of your food is no longer, like, it's just not going to stay the same. So all this is to say, please go support your local Chinese restaurant, like your local mom and pop restaurant. Tell your friends, tell your family, like, these businesses they're not going to exist in the same way in the next 10 to 15 years. So go support them while you can. So a ticking time bomb that I feel like not a lot of people know about is the fact that most of your favorite local Chinese restaurants that are being owned by like Chinese immigrants are probably not going to be around within the next 10 to 15 years. And this is because, for context, my parents own a Chinese restaurant, and basically all of our friends and family in our like community also own their own Chinese restaurants. So, you know, what I know is happening is that a lot of these people who came to America, you know, a couple decades ago, opened up their Chinese restaurants. They're getting to the age now where they are trying to figure out how to retire and how to essentially like what to do with the business. And so one of the options obviously is to sell it.
Is that what it is? Or did y'all figure out that y'all people wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash? And now it's bouncing. I don't feel bad at all because this is a long time coming. And it's not to say that we're just trying to boycott businesses to hurt y'all. Listen, it's not about y'all. It's about us. It's about the fact that we've been coming into your businesses, patronizing y'all businesses, but yet we're treated like we're nothing. Yet we're treated like we're nothing. We're treated as if our dollars don't matter. We're treated as if you're tired of dealing with us. Yet you open up service industry companies where you have to provide customer service, you have to provide food, you have to provide us, you're cleaning our feet, but yet you don't respect us. We're just dirty people. Man, listen, it's crazy. And it's so funny seeing all of these think pieces go online and they still fail to realize where all of this is coming from, as if we just got up one day and said, let's just boycott business. No. Where do you think the whole term hurry up and buy came from? Y'all been tired of us in your stores. You say it's because we're stealing and all of this stuff. Why keep opening up stores in the neighborhoods with us then? It's almost as if you can't open them anywhere else. And see, what's funny is you talk about the people moving here and immigrants are not opening up these businesses anymore. Or can immigrants not come over here the same way they did before because of this current administration? Oh, and let's talk about the fact that y'all come over here and don't like us, don't respect our money. Y'all treat us like we're less than, but you're doing our feet. You're serving us food. It's almost as if the higher class Asian community over there still in their country didn't have to come mingle with the lessers. Am I getting somewhere with this? It's almost as if this is like a second-rate job that y'all do here. Even though it's your business, you have to clean and file the feet of the very people that you despise. Let's wear that facade. I don't get it. But then y'all feel like y'all are better than us here, but y'all know how y'all are looked at home. Y'all know how people look at you at home. The people with the tech companies, the people with the pharmaceuticals, not the Chinese restaurants in the hood, not the nail salons where you got to scrape the feet of us niggas in the hood. We thought y'all was a quiet, docile community till everybody got online and drove saying how much y'all didn't need the black dollar. But if y'all don't need it so much, why is it a problem if we're not patronizing your businesses anymore? Why the uproar? What are you scared of? What are you scared of? Is it that your people not going to support your business? They don't need their feet done? They don't need their nails done? They don't want to eat Chinese food? Oh, y'all don't eat the Chinese food that you serve to us. Oh, yeah, what are we even talking about here? See, and it's funny because I did a video on the stock market and how it's crashing in Korea, but everybody got in the comments saying it has nothing to do with what's going on in America. Listen, common sense ain't so common anymore.
Get your fucking head out of your ass for 1 second, okay? All Asian people could agree with me on this one. Is that you are upset with one Asian person and the rest of the one that looks like him get punished for it. That's the questions that we're asking. It's not because, oh my God, we're losing a business that you're not going to shop with us. No. The question is, why do you punish people that look like Chow? That's it. Because we asked that questions, you went into, oh, so the boy was innocent. No, we're not saying that we're not grieving for the loss of Cyrus. We're not saying that we're agreeing with Chow. We're not arguing about anything in that matter. But we're asking, if you're not happy with Chow, go punish Chow. Why do you targeting collectively because we look alike? What? And because we asked that, you think that we're okay with shop owner to kill a young innocent man? Now, that's projection, sweetheart. That's not coming from me. I grieve and I feel mourn the loss of a life. Okay? No life should be lost. That's it. I'm not arguing about that. I'm saying Asian people out here are asking, why do we get punished? Because you're not happy with one person that looks like us. And since you're not gonna get it, I assume that because you're operating through the emotion, okay? It's high right now, I get it. Let me cradle you for 1 second, okay? So here we go. Imagine this, okay? There's a family, okay? mom, dad, and 5 children. 4 live out of state, in school or whatever, live their life. A youngest one live with parents. All 5 of them get access to support funding from the parents. One day, the youngest one stole dad's watch and sold it. Dad found out, got upset. He freezed all the bank account. And then other children call and say, what's up with the bank account? I can't access. And dad say, well, I'm upset with your brother. He stole my watch. And now the children, the 4 children are asking, okay, our younger brother stole your watch. We had nothing to do with it. But why we're prevent from accessing to the fund? Because the older kids asked that question, dad immediately went into, oh, so you agree that your brother has the right to steal my watch and sell it? That's not what they say. They said, why is it one person's actions affecting us?
Boycotting's not enough. Boycotting the Asian community is just not enough for me. Honestly, I feel like we need to understand what we're competing against. All right. And in order for us to like really crush our competition and let them know like we really don't need them for real, because we don't. And what that video told me was that their business models, they came here and they made great business models that work in our own communities. And we haven't figured out how to do that. So I'm going to take my accounting expertise and bring it to you. So first of all, we need to understand what we're competing against. All right. Now, one person goes over to Asia, they come here, or that one person comes from Asia, they come over here, they work, save money, buy a building, open up a nail salon. They call 5 of their family members and say, hey, nail salon is up and running. You guys come over here and we're going to start working. Now, this is the one thing we're missing and we don't understand about our competitor. They're not going to pay them the same thing that we would expect here in America. Why? Because their expectations are different. They're not coming here thinking they're going to make $17 an hour. They're actually okay with making 10. They're not rich. So their largest expense is now cut in half. Not only that, but their business model makes sense for our own Black communities, right? And I'll say for the specific communities that one man was talking about, right? He's talking about low income communities. Let's keep it a band. And the reason it works for us is because their price point is low. Why is their price point low? Because they do high volume. High volume meaning there's 5 different people, maybe 6, 7 different employees in there. They can afford to have 6, 7, 8 employees there because they're only paying them $10 an hour. They do not have to pay them the standard rate of like 17.
It's not about whether or not they can pay them cheaper or anything like that. It's really about the fact that the only reason why they do this, and it's not that they're smarter than you, it's not that they're wiser than you or anything like that. Their options are limited because they don't have as much opportunity for you. These are not things that their children is looking to take over. They can't speak the language as well. They're not as educated. A lot of times people that come over into this country, if they're not going into a huge opportunity, they go on to Wall Street or something like that, or they're coming to train inside of our universities and they spent a lifetime saving up so that they could send their children to our universities who pay an extreme amount of tuition, and then ultimately they get a good job. Those kids go into a different type of lifestyle and job. They don't come back and take over the family business. They're not trying to work for that and nothing like that. The business ultimately dies with the parents.
So we are boycotting the Asians because they mistreated us. That's not how this is supposed to work. You shouldn't be patronizing the Asians anyway because you should desire independent Black economic infrastructure. Right. So we shouldn't even be in this position. So the question becomes this. When we're no longer angry at the Asians, you know what's going to happen? We're going to go right back to their businesses because it's the same thing we do with the Caucasians. We don't need a boycott movement. We need a divestment movement. But the reason Black America is stuck in the boycott stage of revolution is we lack the accountability, the responsibility, and the financial discipline to divest completely and create alternative structures and systems for our people to exist in. In other words, Cyrus Carmack-Belton should have never been at Rick Chow's Sunoco gas station or Shell station in the first place, because there should have been a black gas station. Carmelo Anthony should have never been at a predominantly white track meet, because he should have been attending a predominantly black independent school.
People are calling the boycott of Asian businesses collective punishment. You know, I can see why they think that, but for me personally, I'm holding off on that assessment. You need to realize this is a very natural response, in my personal opinion, and it's very mild in the sense that I'm seeing people bring up collective punishment in the sense like, oh, people saw one thing and then they took it out through violence. They rioted through the streets and attacked their businesses. This is purely just a boycott. This is people choosing not to spend their money at certain businesses. All right, this is perfectly within legal limits. Okay. Another point I want to bring up is, even without an organized boycott, people already made up their minds when they saw on the news that another kid has been killed by an Asian business owner. Let's say there is a restaurant franchise, one location accidentally food poisons their clientele and news spreads around, and people around the United States decide to avoid that franchise altogether. Is that collective punishment? I don't really think so, all right? I think collective punishment in this situation would be if people across the United States decides to burn down every single franchise they can find, despite that one specific location being the one at fault. I think you can just argue that this is poor marketing from Asian business owners, all right? The fact that there's already a record of Asian business owners killing black kids, that's horrible marketing. Why would, just think about it for a moment. Do you think the black community would have somewhat concerns shopping at Asian businesses, knowing that there's a record of Asian business owners killing black kids? Think about that for a moment. I feel like, again, that's why I feel like this is a natural response. This is a natural response to a kid getting killed. People are going to call this pandering. They're going to call me performative, even call me a traitor. And I understand where they're coming from, but for something like this, I like to try to not have as much ego as possible, because just think about it like this. Let's say there is no boycott. Let's say people react as if nothing happened after this kid tragically died. What type of accountability would you see from the Asian community? What type of action would you see from the Asian community? And I think that is a brutal question, because I worry there won't be any accountability at all.
Black people are boycotting Asian stores because an Asian store owner recently just offed a black kid, and this is the most stupidest thing ever. This is one of the most racist things you can ever do, and it's coming from black people, and I'm very disappointed, right? Because, you guys gone through the most, struggle in racism, so I thought you would be more understanding about, not turning things to racist issues immediately. But, here it is. You see a Chinese guy or just an Asian guy do something bad to a black guy, and you automatically start boycotting and stereotyping and grouping in all the other Asians? What the hell kind of logic is that? We do not associate with the guy. Have you seen a single Asian person, glorifying or saying that guy, he did it, then he did the right thing, that black kid deserved to have that happen to him? No. Who is supporting him? No one is supporting him. If the Chinese community was supporting that Chinese guy or Asian guy, then I would understand you're boycotting everyone. But literally no one is supporting him. We're all condemning him. Show me one person who's supporting that Asian store owner. What are we doing? Why are you becoming more racist? Why are we fighting racism with racism? This is the most stupidest thing ever, bro. If anything, this is raising racial tensions between blacks and Asians. This is the most stupidest. You're just setting everyone back. This is so stupid. Please do not do this, okay? I understand that, that black kid did not deserve to have that happen to him, all right? And I agree. We all agree on that. Every Chinese person or Asian person, I can, probably agree for them on their behalf, okay? We all, saying that Asian guy did not, saying he's a bad person, he deserves to go to jail for a long time. We all agree on that. There's no need for you to start boycotting and become racist to other Asian stores because of this one singular incident. Are you stupid? What? If you see, your black friend doing this, genuinely please explain to them and calm them down, because this is not the right way to, combat racism.
Another Seattle business closed, and it was multiple businesses. So if you guys know where Asian street hall food is at, the one in Westlake Center with like multiple little businesses is completely closed. Yes. So I guess someone sent me this eviction notice. And it's crazy because we were there 4 days ago, and then we tried to go there 2 days ago and it was closed randomly. I'm like, it's a weekend. Why is it closed? And there was no eviction notice until someone DM'd me this right now and was like, hey, like, do you know about this? I was like, I saw it closed, but I didn't know they were like evicted. I thought it was more like maintenance thing or something, but it's gone. It's permanently closed. What is going on? If you guys know the reasoning, it looks like they weren't paying the rent or something. I don't know. But I like that place. I feel like there was always a lot of people there. I don't know. Yes, it's odd. If anybody knows, let me know or write it in the comments. But yeah, we're trying to figure out how this happened.
What's happening? What did we do? I just got off work really, really late. I was gonna get Chinese food. All the restaurants of Chinese food are closed. What do we do?
Because of the recent Asian trial case with the Chow family, amounts of black people have started talking about boycotting all Asian stores. Although that's a solid idea, great plan, let me tell you why it will not work. All right, reason number one, people of all backgrounds need to participate in this boycott for it to work. And that will never happen because black people, American, African, Caribbean, British, whatever, are not united in America. So we are not on the same page. That's one. That's a start. Other reason, who will be the default? Who will all these black people go to once they boycott all of these Asian stores? I'm talking nail salons, beauty supply stores. Oh, don't forget, black people love eating Chinese food. I'm one of them. Who will be your default? Where are you going to get your nails done? Where are you going to get your beauty supplies from? Or are you willing to cook Asian food at home when you're in the mood? Did we think about this? But once again, it's a solid plan. Boycotting all Asian stores is a great plan. But the only way it will work is if every single, like 99.9% of black people in America participate. That's the only way it would work. And we have to stick with it for at least, I'll say about 2 or 3 months. Bankruptcy. Because a lot of Asians don't realize the majority of their consumers are black people. So this is a solid plan that can actually work. We just need to be smart about it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm down if you're down.
Did you know that across the country, there's one trend that few people are talking about? There's fewer and fewer Chinese faces at some of your favorite Chinese spots. And much of it has to do with one reason: intergenerational social mobility. And all this is just a fancy way of saying that these kids, or the kids of these parents, are no longer working at restaurants because they're going to college and working as a professional either in accounting, finance, medicine, etc. And to really understand this, we needed to understand the goal of many of these parents who opened up a restaurant in the first place, since they wanted to give their kids a better life. And as you can see behind me, many of these individuals now dominate in categories such as software engineering or medicine. And basically, the kids who grew up doing their homework in the back of these Chinese restaurants are now going to college and taking on professional roles. And this might just be one of the biggest shifts when we talk about the restaurant industry, especially Chinese restaurants. And for many, this is a good thing, since restaurant work is grueling, working 12 hours and even up to 6 days every single week. And they were first hired through immigrant staffing agency located in places like Chicago or New York City's Chinatown. And this eventually gave them the opportunity to start a family, buy a home, as well as raise their children. And today, the parents of these working professionals are so successful that it's even created a shortage when it comes to the Chinese restaurant market. And current owners are looking elsewhere for immigrants who came from the Middle East, Latin America, as well as Africa. And basically, the traditional Chinese restaurant that you think about back in the 1990s as well as early 2000s is no longer there. And many of these families have moved on, and some have even shut their doors. But in reality, this is actually a good thing.
You fucking black fucking people.
Hey, Momo, for real? Why'd you delete your Instagram and your TikTok after I made this video about you? Because you fooled us all by saying that your name was
Monica. Mo for short on the internet.
But it's not really Monica, is it? Because if you remember from a couple of years ago, you and your husband in 2024 filed for bankruptcy, where from this very public document, we can see your names. And since I'm going to assume that your name isn't Ryan Amodeo, your name would be Owen Singuan. And Owen, not only do I find it hilarious that multiple people have confirmed that your hick-ass accent is fake as fuck, but I know somebody who didn't get in trouble for stealing money from tenants in an apartment building and got in trouble for grand theft isn't out here insinuating that black people are criminals when you're the one out here victimizing other people. Well, I guess if I had that type of hypocritical skeletons in my closet, I guess I would also have me and my spouse delete all of our social media presence and go into hiding as well. Not to mention, if you and your husband moved to Texas like this person claims, and then you and your husband voted in California like you claimed in this video, then the only ones who committed voter fraud would be you two.
The Asian boycott thing ain't happening in Houston, Texas. And I'm particularly talking about Houston, Texas because I live in Houston. I ride around here all the time. I be paying attention. The nail shop's still full. People still got lines at Timmy Chan's. Hell, somebody right now is making a video about Timmy Chan's. And I think that's because in Houston, we have a kind of intertwined community here when it comes to blacks nature. I'm not saying by any means that people get along all the time or people don't have their prejudices. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, when was the last time you went to Timmy Chan's and there wasn't a black person taking your order? I haven't seen it in a long time. I've seen Asian people riding slabs. I've seen Asian people talk with that Houston twang. Asian people sell grills. I mean, it's kind of an intertwined community when you really think about it in its totality. And I just don't think it would happen here. Some people ride this internet thing and this social media thing, think that when one person comes out with the idea that the entire community is just supposed to jump on that bandwagon and keep it going. But what people don't understand is, depending on where you live, your problems might not be my problems. So out of solidarity, I'm just supposed to make my problems. I don't think it works like that.
You know, it's really disheartening when you see the older generation move like this. It's always the older generation. This dude is too old to be saying the stuff that he's saying. Not only that, I'm going to be the first to say he do not speak for the city of Houston, Texas. I'm born and raised in Houston, and I do not agree with this 100%. He felt that way. That is not the rest of the city of Houston. I'm going to stand with my people. This man got on the internet and said that the Asians and the blacks are intertwined because it's mostly black people that work at Timmy Chan's. But fuck Timmy Chan's. All right? Niggas been eating Timmy Chan's since 1997. I think we could go without Timmy Chan's for a while. Then he got on here and said that Asians, they ride slabs and they make grills. The only Asians I know that make grills is two of them. It's Johnny Dang and the other Asian boy who made the chain for 6ix9ine. Outside of that, I ain't never seen no Asian make no grills. And you talking about they ride slabs? Boy, you think we give a damn about some slabs? When we talking about the protection of black people, then you said what's one person problem ain't your problem. Bro, it's a sickness. I really think it's a sickness up top. All of y'all that get on the internet and talk like this, bro, and go against your own people, it's literally a sickness.
They love to act like boycotting or blackout Asian businesses is not working. It's only a TikTok. People want their mouth. I'm going to flip my camera and I'm going to show you this restaurant. I was open like last week, if I'm not mistaken, closed down now. Let me show you. As you can see, FBA stand up. As you can see right here, this business is shut down. It's closed right here. So they love to act like this is only on TikTok. It's working, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, the first restaurant, but the first business in the black community should be the Asian restaurant. The food is no good anyway, to be honest with you. FBA stand up.
Yes, those two black girls are dead wrong. Calling Chinese restaurants and placing orders and not going to pick up is a horrible thing to do. And on the other end, Asian restaurants, Asian grocery stores, Asian whatever, when they profile black people, that is fucking horrible. This weird black community on TikTok that likes to boycott everything for the tiniest thing, they have absolutely gone on steroids, which is fine. I don't care. They could do whatever they want. I'm not here to stop them, especially since they don't want to really listen to reason. It seems nowadays that they rather care about clicks and the whole I own you thing more than having a conversation or the truth or work together and be better as a group and community. Like I said in the comments of that video, I'm only going to speak to people who rather have a conversation and understand that it's not the entire community. It's just random people that just like both groups. And I'm here to move forward with everybody. I think both of our community combined, like me and my wife, we have fucking 3 Blasian kids. That's incredible. I don't know. Anyways, I'm just done having this conversation with all these Neanderthals that rather be angry than actually be reasonable and have a conversation.
Yeah, and black people, it's more than just boycotting. It's about blacking them out completely. It's about stop allowing them access to the community. It's about taking accountability. It's about stop inviting people to the cookout. No to-go place, no sharing stories with them. It's about building community. It's about gaining our self-respect back as a collective. It's about gaining respect for each other as a collective. Because this is not centered around them. It's more than just shopping at black businesses or creating more black businesses. It's about building community with other people. And it's about creating business with each other. One thing that they have stripped from us as a collective is simple respect for one another. We can't stop what they already set in motion, but we can take our power back. And they stripped us of community because they don't have community. Their community is centered around racism. And there's no space to be trying to get over on anybody else. Each one teach one. If you got gems or information to drop or share with people, then do it. If you can start making a financial group or an investment group with people, do it. Let's share this information. Even if it's through Messenger, even if it's through offline, let's share this information with each other.
So I'm in Houston, Texas, door dashing, and I'm happening to pick an order up from Jersey Mike's, and this Nom Nom Noodles is right next to me. Let's see. Oh, this whole ghost town. Ooh, Jesus. Y'all stand on business?
What it do, y'all, man? Listen, real quick. I just want to say, man, listen, I'm proud of y'all. I've been seeing the pictures. I've been seeing motherfuckers standing on business by not going to the nail shops, going to the Asian stores, doing the boycott, man. I'm proud of y'all. Let's keep it going. And like I said, everybody ain't gonna come. It's all right. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? But one thing we should be doing, each one teach one. Every time you see another, you know, hey, listen, make sure y'all ain't fucking with them shops. Handle that business. We finna stand on that business. Hey, little by little, man, but I'm happy, man. Listen, I see y'all sending me pictures like, look, bro, we doing it. It's working. Hey, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going.
I saw this thing online of how the black people are not going to these salons or this. They are seriously boycotting these Asian people. We are not funding them anymore. It's empty. Look at this. I thought it was a joke. Ain't nobody in there. Wow. Look at this. They are not playing. Talking all of that shit about the niggas, and the niggas ain't going in there to buy you nothing. Wow, I thought it was a joke, but they are not playing with these Asian people. Ain't nobody in there. Saying they don't need the black dollar. Uh-huh.
Family, let's call it what it is. The Asians are mad because we won't keep handing over our hard-earned money while getting disrespected in return. They've built businesses in our neighborhoods, benefited from our loyalty for decades. But when tragedy strikes like the killing of young Cyrus and we demand accountability and change our spending habits, it's suddenly a problem. They don't patronize our businesses. They don't spend $1 in black-owned stores at the same rate we've supported theirs. But the moment we decide to redirect our dollars, outrage, boycott us, how dare you? This is the height of hypocrisy. Look at any other group. If someone disrespected them in business, they'd circle the wagon so fast it would make your head spin. Hispanics, Asians, whoever. They protect their economic interests without apology. Yet when black people do the exact same thing, it's framed as hate, division, or niggerism, as one critic boldly called it. Please, think about it like this. If you don't know anything about boxing and there's a black boxer versus a white boxer, most people are naturally going to root for the one who looks like them. That's human nature. Tribalism is real. It's wired into us. So, of course, in a situation like this, a black child killed, an Asian store owner acquitted, people's minds were made up from the beginning. The trial and evidence only poured gasoline on it. But here's the bigger picture, and this is where we need to stay focused. This shouldn't just be about one tragic incident. It needs to be about black economic development and empowerment. Period. We've got to adopt a spend where you are respected mentality across the board. No more pouring money into places where we're tolerated only for our wallets. No more funding businesses that don't hire us. Don't invest back in our communities. And don't show basic human decency. It's time to build. Support black-owned grocery stores, barber shops, clothing brands, restaurants, tech startups, everything. Create our own supply chains. Teach our children entrepreneurship from jump. This is how real power is built, not through begging or protests alone, but through economic independence. Yes, it's hard for some. Interracial marriages, close friendships, business partnerships that cross lines, those folks are in a tough spot. Romeo and Juliet situations. I get it. But even then, principle over feelings. Our community's future has to come first. Other cultures would be screaming injustice if the roles were reversed. Look at the current outrage from some Asian voices right now. They expect us to keep spending, keep supporting, while they cry foul the second we choose differently. We're minding our black business that minds us. Toodles to the rest. This boycott, this blackout, this standing on business, it's a wake-up call. It's not sustainable to keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. Our dollars have power. When we unify them, we create leverage. We create options. We create wealth that stays in our communities instead of leaking out. So, to every black man and woman watching, be intentional, be strategic, shop black, build black, invest black. And if a business, any business, doesn't respect you, take your money elsewhere. That's not hate. That's self-love. Family, that's the real talk today. This moment with Cyrus and the growing spend where you are respected movement is bigger than one store or one verdict. It's about us finally choosing us unapologetically. If this fired you up, drop a comment with your thoughts. Have you started shopping differently? Tag a black-owned business we all need to support. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video so the message spreads. We've got the power, now let's use it. Black economic empowerment is the way forward. Stay strong, stay focused, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.